What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you. This is my green tea detox face mask. It's not a peel. It's just one, like, once you deep clean your face and your pores are open. I really love just using this, especially if you've had some facial neglect like I have this week. So, this is, don't mind the mask, but I wanted to kind of talk to the ladies a little bit, just real quickly, right? So I don't really follow any of the drama in Satan's world too in depthly these days. And I just want to make that clear right away. I do not follow the drama in Satan's world in depthly. All right. But I do catch glimpses and trends of the same drama, right? So a couple of weeks ago, Anton Daniels was on Corey Holcomb's show, right? And Corey felt like, it seems to me, that Corey felt like Anton came with an agenda, right? You have two black men, they're having conversations about this and that, right? But you have one black man who is kind of acting as almost like an agent, if you will, against his people, trying to, foster certain narrations about his people. And then you have this other black guy who is kind of subscribing to the idealisms of a black man. Now, they're both obnoxious, right? But they're both going to sit in that, meeting, right, with some kind of moral or higher, superiority in some way, right? Fast forward, right? The interview turns south, right? They start talking about, going back and forth about each other's social ideology in connection with their people, black people, right? And, Corey kind of goes, from 0 to 100 when Anton Daniels say that he is lollipopping black people, right? And it was just a dumb statement for Anton to make, right? But then Corey took it like really offensively, right? And, to me, real men, if, that's not your thing, that's not what you do, you don't have to alpha up and get real aggressive, right? You can say what you say, right? And then you can move on in that conversation. You can put another man in his place and still walk away with your dignity. Unfortunately, Corey Holcomb could not do that in that moment, which kind of spiraled into these little female-like shots between the both of these highly feminized men, right, who kind of says that they're real men, right, real dudes, right? Let me tell you, that beard does not make you a real dude. But anyways, right, taking shots at each other's family. And then, obviously it gets to a point where people are centering in on a female that Anton brought to the Corey Holcomb show to kind of put her on and get her some visibility, because obviously he's trying to create this business model where, look, I have a successful platform and, I can help other people get visibility. I've seen this business model before. I know this business model, so it's not new to me what he's doing, right? Here comes this chick, Micca, right? He has an excuse why she's around. She is obviously somebody that he is working with, trying to elevate in this black conservative space, right? He sees that there's a sweet spot for conversations that are facilitated by black conservatives. Obviously, these people are trying to take note from Candace Owens, right? Candace got her beginnings kind of being an Anton Daniels, right? Once she got herself firmly established, then she kind of went back to, some sense of being black, if you will. But it's just to say that, long story short, that was just an overview of the situation. We get to this reoccurring content now about people kind of microscoping Anton and Micca's relationship, right? And I was looking at a video of this brother kind of breaking down why, Micca and Anton might have been more deeper than just a business relationship. And he's kind of showing all these, hotel pictures of them in the same place, or, he's stating some pretty decent, compelling arguments here. And, at the end of the day, I look at men like Anton. And first of all, I'm a brutally honest person on this channel, right? I look at men like Anton. They are not the most attractive black men. All right. They are not the black guy that all their lives they have always had girls liking them. Okay. And if they did have girls liking them, it wasn't the girls that they liked, that they wanted, right? They realized that I have to go out, I have to get a lot of money to attract the type of women that I like, right? But all the while, these men feeling rejected by the women that they like, right? Once they get one or have access to one, it's not his mission to like try to hold on to her prize or anything like that. It's almost to make her suffer for all the other women that rejected him. So when I look at a person like Micca, right, she was probably looking at Anton has this level of stature. He can get me to this level. And maybe they were both kind of using each other in some respects, but at the end of the day, people like Anton, and I'm looking at his facial features, I see the infiltration in his bloodline. You're not going to see a face like Anton's in antiquities because he is a result of mixtures, right? Cultural mixtures. But I'm not going to get into that. But when you look at a face like that, there is literally signatures of inherent manipulation, bloodlines of inherent manipulators shining through this man's face. And when you see that, right, some of the manipulations that he's kind of putting out there about himself, they're readable, right? But at the same time, for Micca, right, there were things that arguably he intentionally did to make it look like he had another woman in his room, that he, in so many different ways, the way he was talking, articulating, he was shaming her. It wasn't, the internet did not need to shame Micca. Anton shamed her before the internet could even get to it, right? And she may not be aware of it, but when you look at kind of the trails of their communications, Corey Holcomb show, and all the things that they were doing around that, to me, he was doing more than just giving her visibility. He was pretty much, he got a baddie with him, right? That's kind of where I'm looking at Anton. I got a baddie with me, right? And I am going to show everybody that, I'm married, I'm doing my thing, my wife know I'm doing my thing, right? And I got this baddie, right? I think Micca was just really an arm piece that just was a baddie, and he was going to elevate her however he was. But even still, I don't think that he was really going to do what he might have told her that he was even going to do for her fully, right? Because she was a means to an end. And you can tell how he was even talking in one of those videos, how, even when all that was going down, Micca didn't say nothing. She did exactly, with a woman. She let me take the lead. Like, sir, you're married, right? And you're trying to be this poster child for black morality. And, you're a whole psyop at best. But anyways, men like Anton, to me, they don't, even if they get a woman like Micca, they're not going to see her as a prize. They're going to always look at themselves as a prize, even though women like her would reject him if he was not the guy that he is. And that's just a reality. And they always know that, right? So they're always going to try to act like a little meaner to the women that they're with, because, they need her revering him in a way, that he wouldn't necessarily get if he did not have some kind of wealth or recognition, right? And if Anton Daniels were to lose his whole platform, people start rocking with Anton or whatever, that will be an angry ass man. He already looked like a dude that can get real angry and frustrated real fast, because to me, you got to look at people look at the surface of people. You got to look at the inner workings of people. And when I look at the inner workings of that man, I don't see a righteous man. That is not a righteous man. I see a manipulator at best. And I feel sorry for Micca, because she was really a pawn to me in a manipulator's game at best. She was a pawn in a manipulator's game at best. And now she's seeing it because she looks shameful. And I'm pretty sure that, if her husband was thinking that that was just business platonic, that man probably has a lot of questions right now. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to get ready to, yeah, it's pretty dry. I'm going to go wash this off my face so I can get in and wrap up this week. But you guys have a wonderful week. Love your neighbors as yourself. If you would not disrespect or abuse yourself, do not disrespect or abuse your neighbor. And married people, just understand that every time you step out of your marriage, every time that you buy into the trends and mindsets of Satan's world, that it's okay to do that without any care, just understand that you are acting unrighteously, which makes you a wicked, displeasing God person in the eyes of the Most High. And maybe you don't believe in the Most High, that's fine. But when you start seeing a series of unfortunate events happen to you because of the results of your wicked decision making, then you will believe and you will see, because He's always going to make us believe and see. When you side with wickedness, it will never go well for you. When you are married and you say vows before that person and the Most High, this is why priests are involved there, right? Because you're saying vows before God to stick with that person, right? And you break those vows, it doesn't go well for you. It just doesn't. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Maybe I'll do a live stream later, or if not, I'll try to pick up one next week. Take care. Bye.